Okay, this is the third graph. Your test will have three graphs, and then the backside will be all of the solving. And so for the last graph, you're not being asked to name all of the same information as the previous two. What I'm asking you to find are the x-intercepts, the y-intercept, and the vertex. And I can do that with you not having a ton of work on your hands because I am going to give you a quadratic that's factorable, and the x-intercepts come from the zero product property that we just started looking at yesterday. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, can you please rewrite this equation in its factored form, because it will help us come up with the x-intercepts very quickly. So because of this -2, I am going to use two numbers that multiply to make 3, and those two numbers are 3 and 1. But because the 2 is negative, I'm between the 1 times the 3. The negative is going to be the 3. So 1 times 3 makes 3, but it could either be -1 or +3, or +1 and -3. And the larger number is going to match the middle sign whenever the signs are different in the factors. So x minus 1, x minus 3, x plus 1. Now the zero product property works whenever you let the y be 0. And in your graph, this line right here is where the y is 0. So now that I look at this equation as 0 equals x minus 3, x plus 1, there are two possible zeros. When x is +3, that's a point on my graph. And then also when x is -1, that's got to be another point on my graph. So from these 2 points, you can actually find the axis of symmetry. You could use the formula if you wanted to, but I can tell just by getting to the middle here that this line right here is going to divide those 2 points. The two numbers on the number line, one is exactly in between them. So this is one way that I can come up with the axis of symmetry if I have 2 points that have the same y. The y-intercept is going to be whenever the x is equal to 0. And so I'm looking for the point 0, comma, whatever. And if I have this equation to start from, if I don't look at the factored form, the y-intercept is very easy. So please see if you can tell what the y-intercept is. That's when the x is 0. So when the x is 0, this turns into 0 squared, -2 times 0, -3. But basically, these guys zero out. And -3 is the coordinate of the y-intercept. So if I know this point's on the parabola, I can just bounce right over the line of symmetry, and I also know that point's on the parabola. I am also going to ask you for the vertex, and if you could tell what the shape is of this graph, then you know that the vertex has to be right here. This is a parent graph that got shifted because there's no stretch in front of the x squared. The a is 1, and so it's going to have that 0, 0, the 1, 1, the 2, 4 pattern that the parent has. So I can tell that the vertex is 1, -4 just by the shape of the graph. And, I'm looking at this worksheet, and I did a lot of copying and pasting, but I'm not going to ask you to complete this table on this problem, on this graph, on the test. I'll just be asking for these answers. So the x-intercepts officially are 3, 0, -1, 0. X-intercepts have a y that's 0. The y-intercept has an x that's 0. And the vertex doesn't necessarily have a 0. That's the vertex right there. Okay, that was graphing in a nutshell in like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Please make sure that you submit your Ed puzzles and that you complete the back side of this worksheet and turn it in. Please be sure to turn it in even if you don't finish. I want to give you credit for what you did finish this morning, afternoon. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.